don't know exactly what color to choose, especially with these slower moving baits like a jig or finesse baits, worms, and things like that. Pick a color that matches or blends in with the surroundings that you're fishing. So those are really good choices. Another thing, if you fish in Michigan, you have to know a lot of these finesse different type of techniques. And without a doubt, probably the hottest finesse technique all across the whole region is a drop shot rig. And what I like to do with a drop shot is fish it a lot like I do other rigs. The thing that I really like about fishing a drop shot is I can fish it slow and I can keep a bait in the strike zone for a real long time, or I can cover a lot of water with it too. I can kind of apply my power technique with it for the situation that I'm facing with. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I just start by tying on a hook. Either if I'm fishing around a lot of cover and grass, I'll tie on a little offset weedless hook. If I'm fishing in open water where there's not a lot of cover, I'll just use a little drop shot hook, like an open exposed, almost like a live bait hook. And then I'm going to put some type of plastic bait on it. And day in, day out on a drop shot rig, one of the best things you can use is just a straight tail worm, just something that's small and has a nice profile to it that really matches just about anything that swims. A little worm, straight tail worm, has a tremendous amount of action to it, and it looks like a little minnow as much as anything in the water or beach or just about anything. So I can rig something like that. What I've got set up right here is a hook tied up with a Palomar knot, and then on the tag end, about 12 inches down, I've got a little weight. This is a 1/4 ounce, and I choose enough weight so that no matter what depth of water that I'm fishing, I can keep my line tight. I can keep good contact with it. So if I'm fishing a drop shot rig in shallow water around the bank, you may only need an 1/8 ounce or a 3/16 ounce weight. If the wind's blowing a little bit, you may want to step up your weight a little bit. If you're fishing 15 or 20 foot of water, you may want to go up to a heavier weight again. So when I make a cast out there again with this drop shot rig, when I'm pulling it along on the bottom, then I can keep that line tight. And what happens with a rig like this is that sinker goes down to the bottom and that worm's up above it, and because your line's tight, every time you move the rod tip, it moves that worm. It just gives it a ton of action. So if you cast to a boat knot or something like that right there, you can just kind of hold it there and shake it, and it's going to have a ton of action and stay close to where that bass is at. A lot of times they can't handle that. If I'm fishing out in open water, I can make a long cast with it, let it sink down to the bottom, work it along a little bit, and then I can kind of cover it, a little faster by kind of shaking that bait along and really moving it a lot and trying to get a bass excited, thinking that it's something that's trying to get away. And you can fish it real fast. It looks like that sinker's kind of chasing along, and you'll get a lot of fish just fishing it real fast because that straight-tailed worm will dart around a lot and have a real erratic action. This rig right here is probably my #1 go-to, most effective rig for fishing in open water areas. If you've got a lot of heavy grass and thick vegetation, a drop shot rig, a lot of times it's hard to, it'll get bogged down in that grass, and it's a little harder to tell what you got on. But if you've got edges of the weeds and or open flats that have a lot of sand and things like that, which we have a lot of rock flats and scattered grass flats in the Great Lakes, places like Lake St. Clair, there's just nothing better than a drop shot rig for catching them. Even when you're here, going right the tail. You know what that is right there? That's what you call force feeding them. They don't want to bite, you make them bite, right? Well, what he was thinking, he was trying to bite it. Trying to get him off there. There we go. So a drop shot rig has, it's got a lot of versatility to it. You can put a lot of different baits on it. That straight-tailed worm is kind of my go-to choice. And when I want to catch a big fish, this is something that I started doing this past year and catching a lot of big fish, especially smallmouth. It's a little creature bait. So often now, the bass, especially smallmouths are really targeting